right, welcome back. Well, actually, this is going to be the first part of a new series. We'll see what happens with it, but I'm thinking about making another grid-based farming style game and just kind of seeing what happens from there. Maybe get a little experimental with it and try and do something a little bit different from the standard formula. So the first thing you want to do is make sure you have Godot 4 open. We are working in Godot 4. I'm going to call this Farmadelic. You can call it whatever you want, but probably put some kind of farm or gardening aspect to the name so that you know what it is. We're using compatibility mode because we want to be compatible. We don't want to be incompatible. That's not nice. No, the actual reason is we just want broad compatibility with old software, and we don't really need all of the new kind of fancy schmancy 3D stuff and whatnot that comes with the other modes. So let's think about what we want to do here. Obviously, we're doing 2D, or maybe not so obvious if you're newer to it, but basically, you're always going to have three different types. I think I have the 3D ones disabled because I don't really work in 3D, but I could always get them in here if I ever needed it. Generally, you're going to be working with 2D scenes for the game world, and then you're going to use user interface for, well, the user interface. So I might just call this, before actually I name it, I'm going to see if they have something called world. So they don't have something called world, so I'm going to try and use that. We can give it a script. It's going to be world, no 2D, all looks good. We get that. And I'm just going to save that. We're going to save that. Now we have world, the scene, and world, the script. All right, we're making moves. Next step, I want to set up my project. I'm doing pixel art. We're going to do 320 by 180. That's kind of my go-to. I want borderless. I think it's viewport. You don't have to worry too much about why. And then I'm going to override the window height in the advanced settings and the width. That's going to make our preview larger, but it's just stretching the pixels without giving us subpixel movement. I'm going to move a little bit quick through all of that kind of boilerplate stuff that we just did there. So first things first, I'm going to do, oops, not that. We want color. If I could spell right now. I got to say, it's nice to have time to work on games again. I've been so dang busy. All right, so we set that minimum size to our game viewport, and I'm going to do, let's see, what do we have to do here? Anchors are fine. I think we want to do, yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to just like automatically set that to, we'll do, is there a way I can move it? A little bit different. I haven't had to deal with this before. I'm still getting used to Godot 4 here. What I want is this to be in the top left. Can I just drag it? Yeah, that's not really what I want, but that should do the trick. I'm trying to figure out like, oh, transform is what I wanted. We want position to be 0, 0. All right, like you can see if I do that, it pushes it over, but we want 0, 0. I'm going to make that black. You can do any color you want. Just know that this is going to be our background. You can, in the game settings, you can change this default background for the editor to be whatever color you want, but I like to have that neutral kind of middle gray so that it's easy to differentiate between my game world and the editor, just kind of like template space. All right, so we have the background. I want to go ahead and lock that so I can't move it. As for now, or at least for now, I just want a single frame. What are you doing, cats? Get down. Come on. Jeez, these cats. Oh, cats. So I want a single frame. We're not going to move the camera. You can see if we run the game by hitting F5 and we select the current scene, we're going to see a view that's just filled with black. Okay, and that's all we have in place right now. I'm going to hit stop. I'm going to do something, let's see, what was the last game I worked on? Probably the Rogue Adventure. We can go and grab that. I'm just going to yoink my utility folder. This you don't have to worry about. These are just helper things that I've made over the years and expanded. So first I'm going to get my globals or my debug and then my globals. These are going to give me some help with things that you don't have to worry about. We'll talk about anything I use after this, which reminds me I do need to go and set a font. So I just type in font in the theme, go to custom font utility. I have my default font. That's fine. I also want to set the default theme, which is here. We go to custom and then default theme. You're probably not going to have a theme set up yet, but I do. I pretty much use the same theme for every project, and then I modify it as needed. The theme is a collection of settings for your user interface. You can see if we open this, we have all these different settings here. Okay, so I'm not going to cover the theme, how to do all that right now. I should probably just make a separate video about it. So keep an eye out for that. Or if you want that, let me know in the comments. That might motivate me to get it done sooner. All right, so my project is pretty much set up in terms of all the basic, again, like I said, boilerplate things that I need in every project. So now we're ready to kind of get going and making something interesting here. Now I'm thinking about like what do we need first? We probably need a cursor. And so I'm going to take a look at my menu cursor. That's not the kind of cursor we need. We technically don't need the cursor right away. We can just use the default operating system cursor. So we can save that step for the prototyping. We do want a tile map layer. I'm going to call this crops. So we'll put all of our crops on this layer. And we're going to need to make some crops. Now, I think I'm going to do 8 by 8 for the crops. Keep it pretty low res. You can use whatever you want. Just keep in mind, like, if you're using the window settings that I am, that you can only go so big, right? You would have to increase the size of your viewport. So I'm going to do an 80 by 80 just to get started. We can make it, I think we'll do black. Yeah, maybe. No, we'll do transparent. And what we'll do is make a new layer. This bottom layer I'm going to call background, and I'm just going to fill that with black. And the wrong tool selected. I kind of want to try a different palette. I've used this palette so much, but that's fine. Then I'm going to lock the background. And what we can do is like turn this on and off. And so we can export it without the background and then just draw it with this transparency. That'll be helpful down the road. I'm not going to get too much into all that, but that will help us for designing. And I'm going to do our grid. This grid is strictly just like for our eyes only. This does not export. It's not actually on the image file. And you can see here like what the pixels look like. I can go back to the brush tool. That's a pixel. That's a pixel. All right, and maybe just for the heck of it, we'll have a white seed since that's the color I had. And then maybe there's like a light blue kind of thing that pops up. And what you can do when you're creating your crops, and keep in mind you can make whatever kind of crops you want. I like doing imaginary ones. And so like maybe this thing, as it gets taller, maybe it's kind of, squashing down. I don't know. Yeah, something like that. See, I'm trying to think about like physically what's happening. And a really fun thing about working with such a low resolution is that you really have to abstract things. There's only so much you can do with 8 by 8 pixels. But generally, I like to work from the previous image. You don't necessarily have to do that. the previous style, I should say. And then maybe we get like an orange in here. So maybe that turns, and so maybe I'll copy that again. I'll probably just have one this last frame. So I pick that orange. And maybe it's just like that. And now it's like, it's going to be super heavy. And so it's weighed down. And then we can go back and think about shading. Or you know what? I don't think I'm going to use shading for this. Let's keep it ultra minimal. You can do your thing, shade it, do whatever you want. I want to keep it really simple because simple is easy to maintain. This is a little bit off center. I don't know if I mind it though. And then over here, what I want to do is draw the produce. And so I might just do a circle. And like maybe it's got a little, something like that. Just real simple. Right? Really, really minimal. And yeah, let's make, you know what? I'm just going to roll with that one for now. Let's go make a new folder in your game art folder, or my game art folder. I'll call this Farmadelic version 9000 or 900. Yeah, it's 9000 because I've only done this 1,000 times. Then we'll call this crops. Now I'm going to do Control-Shift-S and save it as a ping. Portable network graphic. That's a PNG. I could turn off the background. I'm not worried about that right now. So, boom. Now, what I want to do is outside in the top level, I want to make a new folder. I'm going to call this art. And we'll go to my game art and find Farmadelic version 9000, drag that in there. And so now we can use that in our tile set, which I have to make. Go over here, new tile set, click on that. Make sure we do whatever tile size you're using. I'm using 8x8. Go to that tile set. We want to drag that art in there. Sure, automatically make it. Give it your best shot. That might be an issue because of it's making tiles for all of these. So I'm actually, let me delete that. We are going to use the transparency, and then I'm going to re-drag that in there. And that should help us with the auto creation. Yeah, you can see it's only creating ones where there's actually image data, so that's nice. I'm going to call this Plump. And that's kind of a gross name. I don't know. Orange? Yeah, something like that. Orange. Orange. These can always be changed later. So now we can go to our tile map and we can pick these seeds. I forgot one setting in our, we have to do filter. Start typing that, go to textures, and then you want nearest. That's going to help with pixel art. And you can see it's already updating. I might have to reload my project. Let me do a quick reload. Setting that filter mode to nearest gives us pixel perfect art. And so that's ideal for what we're doing here. Yeah, we're still getting, in the preview, it's fuzzy. I don't like that, but it's not the end of the world right now. So great, we can place crops. You can imagine these growing, and then when we click on them at this level, we harvest them. But that's just in the editor. Right, like I can have some crops here. Maybe we'll do, in fact, let's use this handy rectangle tool. Let's also get, I think I want grid snap. That looks pretty good. So we can rock that. If we run the game, we'll see those crops there, but they're not doing anything. Now I think before I even get anything regarding user interaction and input that I want to just get a timer going and so that we can grow these things. That's kind of how I like to roll, is using a timer instead of using the go to sleep and wake up and then, oh, your crops are grown. So it should be pretty simple. We just get a timer in the scene. We can call this like growth or grow. What we grow, growth. Yeah, I like growth. And so maybe every 3 seconds, auto start. And then what we can do is, I think I actually just put this right on crops. That might come back to bite me, but why not? Let's just let crops handle that. To facilitate that, crops is going to need a script. Now we can do timeout. We click on crops and boom, we've got that on growth timeout. We want to get all of the cells. It's going to be an array, and it should just be get used cells. And then for cell in cells, or yeah, for cell in cells. So we're looping through all the cells. Set cell. There's going to be cell. Now this is a little bit different. I'm only used to Godot 3. So long story short, it's about to slow down just a little bit here. Source ID. So we need to get the source ID. And so we're going to do, we can get tile up here. It's going to be an integer. And then we're going to do tile equals get cell. And we're going to do cell, right? Or I guess we could call it source ID, since that's what they call it now. So we should keep it, to that. And we do source ID. Now this atlas chords, you can picture the grid. This is the source ID right here, right? In Godot 3, they call it tile or tile ID. Our atlas chords, I believe, are set up so that this is 0, 0. That's 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4, 0, 5, 0. So what we want to do is just, it's going to be vector 2 cell x plus 1, and then 0. So let's see if that continues. This is not one shot, so every 3 seconds we should be changing that tile. Okay, so clearly my logic didn't work there. Oh, because this isn't right. We have to get the atlas chords. And you know what? Let's just do this. We'll do that. It's going to be a vector 2 I equals get cell atlas chords. That's going to be cell. So we're going to do that, and then we do this. Yeah, beautiful. So it's going to advance the tile every 3 seconds. Now we're not accounting for the end of that. So we're probably just going to get nothing after that one. Yeah. So we need to determine the stage lengths. It's going to be an empty array. I'm probably on ready. Ready is just called when crops enters the tree. Let's see. So I need to be able to get all of the IDs in the tile map layer or the tile set. So let's see. Keep in mind, I'm learning things on the fly. These are things that I've done before. It's just that everything's a little bit different in Godot 4. So generally, when you want to get something, you want to start with these get functions. That's really nifty. Get next source ID. Maybe that. We'll come back to that. Yeah, let's check that out. No, that's a new one. Excuse me. I think what we have to do is get source count and just use that to iterate through it. So it's going to be tile set. We have to determine the length of this atlas. So let's take a look. It's probably going to be like, I'll call it stage length. It's going to be vector 2i. Nothing popping up with atlas cores yet. Let me just pop in here. We don't want the tile size. We want the size of the whole thing. Try looking at atlas cores. No, I wanted to search in here. Oh, you have a tile set source now. Okay. And then we need to get tiles count. Okay. Use get source. It's gonna be I'll set that get source. It's gonna be I dot get tiles count. I think it's gonna be -1. And we stage lengths and stage length. Oh, we're using an int now. Okay. And down here, when we're advancing, we can clamp that. Maybe clamp I. Technically, we can just do max or min. Use the smallest number. And so that's going to be stage lengths source ID. Look at the tile set. Let's make that 0. This might break. Yeah, it did break that. Okay. Good to know. Not a problem. You just go ahead and draw right over that. See, before it was at ID 1, and it was erroring out because it's trying to draw from a source ID of 1, but it didn't exist because I just changed it to 0. Anyway, stage length -1. Let's see if that works. We can get rid of this now. We're just doing that all in one. We can plus like advance. No, it's pretty clear what's happening there. So we'll see if it stops. Now I want it to stop on that one. Or, sorry, that one. Okay, it's not working. Let's see if it stops on that. It does. So we just need to -2. And just for testing, I'm going to speed that up for you. Let's see this in action. 1 Mississippi. 2 Mississippi. Those are long seconds. Now on this next one, we want to stop. Beautiful. And now at this stage, we can check if it's at that stage length, and that's when we can harvest it. Okay. Okay. We also need to handle placement. So I might handle input on here. Does that make sense? I'm thinking. Yeah, I think it does. That might come back to bite me, but I like to live life on the edge sometimes. Do unhandled input. So what we want to do is check in here for a click. Now I could put this all in the cursor, which I might do. But let's try. I like to try different methods of solving things here. So if we look at input event, we can see that the let's see, mouse button. Where is that? Maybe there is no. Let's look this up. Input event mouse button. So that's what we're going to want to use. Then we check the button index. So we can do if event is input event mouse button. Let's see if that errors. Are we good? All right, cool. We can check if event dot button index equals button left, mouse button left. Then we're gonna place a cropped. I'll probably make a function here. Let's call this plant. And we're going to give it a cell. Plant cell, maybe. Well, I just got a text I have to check. We'll just do that for now. Okay, sorry, I totally forgot I was recording a video. Oh my lord. Okay. Text message crisis averted. Back to planting. What I want to be doing. So planting, we're going to be taking in a cell. And it's going to be cell vector 2i. And for now, we just do set cell. It's going to be cell. We're also going to need the crop that we have selected. Can we get like event get mouse position, but we have to convert that. So I think local. Let's try local to map. That should be okay. That's going to convert the mouse position to a cell. We're going to plant its cell. It's just going to be 0 for now. The Atlas chords, I don't think I'm not sure if we have to set that. Let's check this out. Should always be vector 2i. Let's try it with the -1. So when we click, let's see if we can get planning going. It's not working. Let's just see if we're getting any action. All right, it's not getting called. This button left. Oh, you know what? This is probably eating our input. Yep, it's got stop one, so we're going to hit ignore. That's a super frustrating thing I've encountered. I mean, it makes sense. You see we're getting the yes now, right? We're just not getting the planning. So now what I want to do is check the cell. Click up here, we want 0, 0. Yeah, so the cells are working, we're just not getting the planning. And so that tells me we probably want vector 2.i, not 0. Can I not do that? Can I just do... Yeah. I don't need that anymore. I'm positive this will work. There we go. So we're planning. Now, we need to check another thing. It looks like we're not getting the held. So I don't think we can use this unhandled input. So what I'm going to do is copy that. I'm going to comment it out. What we're going to do is do this in process. Delta float. And then what we do is if input dot is, do we have any mouse font? Yeah, we do. Cool. Then we just do that. See, I just figure this out on the fly. It's fine. So we want that. I think actually we want is mouse button. I don't know if this will work either, because it's not going to check for held inputs. We're not getting anything. Weird. Weird, weird, weird. I don't know why that's not working. What we're going to do is go up here, uncomment all of that. I'm going to go and make an input, or maybe I'll go to Google. Oh, they have a toggle. Yeah, we could just do that. I like that. I just want to check this. No, sorry. We do mouse held equals then dot pressed. And um make a plant timer. Sorry, timer plant right there. And should be on crops too. It's like very, very slow or very short, the timer. So it's like instant when we're planning and we can move along. Maybe we call this delay. Now we're going to need a reference to that. And we do if mouse held. I have this default to the mouse cursor position. Do that. And we need a signal. Do and I think input delay start. And down here, what I'm going to do is check if mouse held, plant else, else. Alright. Yeah, that's kind of what we want. Alright, nice. Now, the only problem is it's overriding, so we need to do a cell check. So what we do is if get cell, they still call it invalid cell on this? No. I gotta check tile map real quick. Probably in the constants, which are not around. So let's just look at get cell. We use that. get cell source ID. All right, cool. Okay, so that's not working. Sorry, if it's equal that we want, yeah. You can see it's not overriding. Do that else. We want to try and harvest. Try harvest. It's going to be at cell. Try harvest cell. And that's going to look like if we do this. X equals then we want to harvest. Yay! And we want to do set cell. So that should automatically clear it. So once these are filled, we do this. Okay, and then when I go up here, see how it clears it? It automatically plants it right in its place. So we can only do that if it's finished. I can do full screen, make it a little bit easier to look at. So this is pretty nice. I do need less of an input delay. I'm going to check and see if timers are any different. They are not. So that's telling me I need to use a process function to handle my input delay, because this is just it's not working. You need it to be more responsive. So I'm going to do function process, and we'll use the autocomplete pass. I don't need delta, so I do that to tell the engine I don't need it. At this point, we can just delete input delay and input delay is going to be a float. For now, it's going to be 0, 0. Const input delay float is going to be, try 0. No, sorry, 0.01 for now. I don't even know if that works like that. We can try. So now we're using process. Make sure we're processing. Actually, I don't think we need that there. Actually, we don't have this at all. I'm going to put this up here. Now, I hope we don't still have that connection. Let me see. All right, we don't, so that's good. Get rid of that. Now we can get rid of that. Set process mouse held. If mouse held, we want to plant. And so we're not doing that check. What we want to do, I just want to print delta. I'm going to check that. Trying to figure out what times we're looking at. So 0.16, okay. Let's try 0.2. This is where my programming skills show their weaknesses. You know what? No, let's not use a float. Let's just use a counter. input delay frames. Let's try 3 for now. So every frame we want to do input delay minus equals 1. If input delay equals 0, input delay equals input delay frames. That's not what I wanted. And then we're going to plant. And so we're not messing with process in there. We're only doing that in unhandled input. So if we're holding down the mouse, you have to make sure process is turned off and ready. So I'm holding it. That's pretty good. If anything, it's a little bit slow. We might try every 2 frames. That seems more like it. I'm moving pretty quickly. Yeah, I like that. So we can hold things down and plant lots of crops. That's pretty nice. Here it is in full screen. All right. So like you can see a game forming. It's not a very compelling game right now, but the loop is coming into focus. I almost want to do, just like every other frame. Yeah, I like that. That's faster. It's nice. So you can plant lots of crops. You can harvest. Very nice. Just to make it feel like a real honest to God game, let's get a canvas layer. Let's get a margin container. Let's fill that bad boy. Let's give it a V box. We're going to give it some data, or at least we're going to give it some crops count. We're going to give it some data to draw to communicate to the player. Layout, I don't think we want it filling that whole thing. So I'm just going to do shrink begin. That's going to keep it in the top left of that margin container. And we can call this crops. And like 0 for now. And then we'll update this every time we plant. For which I might want to use a signal bus. Let me think about that layout real quick. So we have crops here. See, if I don't use an event bus, we have to bounce it up to world and then bounce it down the crops count. I don't like that. I also don't want to connect to a sibling like that, or a sibling's child or grandchild or whatever. So yeah, let's get the event bus going. Let me see if I have that in utility. We don't, so we're going to go ahead and make that. It's super simple. It's probably why I don't even include it in my utilities, but I'm going to put that there now. It's going to be a node, and we go up to project settings. We want to do globals and make sure that bad boy is in there. We're going to add it. Now we can access this anywhere in the game. We're going to do things like signal crop. Let's do crops changed. So crops updated. Crop count changed. Do that. And I'm thinking, I think we probably want to send that out, right? And do like n, n being the number of crops. So we save that. Now crops can do this fun thing where it does, let's see. So in here, in plant and try harvest, what we want to do, really for now, just down here, we can do events dot. No. Do it down here. So we do events dot emit. Crop count change dot emit. We're going to put in get use cells dot length or size. I don't think there's a way just to get the amount of used cells. Yeah, so for now we'll just use that. So we're using events. We're calling that now in crops count. I can give that a script, and it's going to do a couple things. One, in ready, we want to connect it. How can I change that? Connect. And the callable is going to be the name of the function that we want to use. And so we'll call this on events crop count change. We want to set our text to it's going to be string of n. Add that, do that. And so we're going to take this text and paste that in a, I think we do that. Oh no, it's a callable. Yeah, so we just do that. Now, do this. You can see right away, boom, we've got an updated crops count. See if I like real quick. It's hard because when I plant, it's so quickly, or when I harvest, it's so quickly replacing it with a new seed. Alright, so that's kind of nice. It works pretty well. One other thing we want to do is in ready, maybe at the top. Why not? We want to call. We want to do that signal. I think one thing I was forgetting is that we want to do it down here. We also want to call it up here. That way, if there are any seeds that start, okay, it's not working there. Let's try this. We're going to await. It's going to be get tree dot process frame. That should work. Yeah, you see how we have that crop count right from the get-go. Now it is updating on harvest as well as plant. So that's pretty nice. We can get rid of that print. That's kind of excessive. We're on the game again. So yeah, not bad. I think the next step is we want to get more crops. And we're going to need a way to select the crops. We probably want to track our harvests. So what I can do is duplicate that label, we'll call this harvest count. And remove that. We're going to just copy that, give it a script. I'm going to paste that in. And we're going to go to events and make a new signal. So we use that. I think you will hold harvest count. And when you harvest, you're going to do that. So harvest count. And we'll do harvest count. We increment that. We call out both of those. Harvest count wants that. And we're just going to replace these. Harvested. Let's get a bunch planted. You can see our harvest count going up as we pick these other ones. And yeah, so you start keeping track of these different variables that give the player a sense of progression and perhaps a sense of achievement. Now, if I take a look real quick, I just want to prototype the look at tile map layer. I want to have a random chance to flip the cell. So let's see if there's anything in there. Let's take a look. Oh man, you have to make an alter. That's a little annoying. This could be good. Well, I guess I won't do that for now. It used to be easier with Godot 3. Not a huge deal. This has a more classic feel when you don't have the flipping randomly, when you just have everything as it's drawn. So a few things I want to do are like particle effects when we harvest and plant, sound effects. Probably, I don't know, figuring out how we get seeds. Probably different methods of filling seeds. We could add a rectangle tool, a circle tool. I should probably make a note. So just have my ideas kind of in one place. I think that's good for now. I gotta go take care of other work, but hopefully this helps you get set up. I definitely think I'll be coming back to work on this soon. It seems like an interesting project. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions or if you get stuck on anything. Just send me a comment and I'll get back to you pretty soon. If you want to help support my channel, you can, like, subscribe if you want. You're not obligated to. I'm not that kind of person. But yeah, that's a great little motivator for me. If people are watching, then I want to make more videos. All right, have a great one. I'll see you next time.